Imagine staying awake for one night. Now imagine staying awake for 2 nights. Most people would be exhausted, but in 1964, a 17-year-old high school student named Randy Gardner set out to break the world record for sleeplessness, motivated by curiosity, a science fair project, and a friendly rivalry with his classmates. To ensure the experiment was legitimate, Randy's attempt was closely monitored from the very beginning. Dr. William Dement, a pioneering sleep researcher from Stanford, and Lieutenant CMDR John Ross, a Navy physician, joined the project to oversee Randy's health and document every stage. They set up a makeshift lab in Randy's San Diego home, using EEG machines to track his brain activity, and performed regular cognitive and physical tests to monitor his condition. Friends and classmates took shifts to keep Randy awake, engaging him in games, conversations, and even basketball to fight off drowsiness. In the first 3 days, the effects of sleep deprivation began to show. According to Randy's diary, by the end of day 1, he was already feeling irritable and had trouble focusing. Dr. Dement noted in his log that Randy's eyes would frequently lose focus, and he sometimes forgot what he was saying mid-sentence. On day 2, Randy's handwriting became noticeably shaky, and he struggled with simple math problems. He later recalled, "I kept losing my train of thought. It was like my brain was in a fog." Dr. Ross observed that Randy's reflexes were slowing, and he failed a tongue twister test that he'd aced the day before. By day 3, Randy reported nausea and mood swings in his diary, and researchers noticed he was becoming more withdrawn, sometimes laughing at jokes but forgetting the punchline moments later. As the hours dragged on, Randy's mind began to betray him. He started to experience vivid hallucinations. At one point, he stared intently at a wall, convinced he saw road signs floating in the air. Another time, he reached out to grab what he thought was a basketball, only to realize nothing was there. "I saw things that weren't real," Randy later admitted. He flinched at imaginary sounds and once insisted there was a basketball player in the room with him. His diary entries became more erratic, with shaky handwriting and scribbled notes like, "Saw road signs that weren't there." Dr. Dement and Dr. Ross exchanged worried glances as they watched Randy's cognitive decline unfold in real time, his EEG readings growing more erratic by the hour. What was happening inside Randy's brain was even more dramatic than what could be seen on the surface. EEG scans revealed that his brain activity was becoming increasingly irregular, with periods of micro-sleeps, brief, involuntary episodes where the brain essentially shuts down for a few seconds, even while the person appears awake. Studies since then have shown that sleep deprivation disrupts the balance of neurotransmitters, impairs the prefrontal cortex responsible for decision-making, and reduces glucose metabolism in the brain, leading to slower reaction times and poor memory. Randy's case provided some of the first real-time evidence of these effects, as scientists watched his cognitive and physical abilities deteriorate hour by hour. The scientists' concerns grew with each passing day. Dr. Dement confided to a reporter, "We're in uncharted territory. We don't know what's going to happen to him." Headlines questioned the ethics and scientific value of the experiment, and some scientists were openly skeptical, worried about the risks and whether the data would stand up to scrutiny. Dr. Ross quietly confided to Dr. Dement, "We have to be ready to pull the plug if things get worse." Randy's experiment became a landmark in sleep research, inspiring decades of follow-up studies. Later research using advanced brain imaging, like MRI and PET scans, confirmed that prolonged sleep deprivation leads to widespread reductions in brain activity, especially in regions controlling attention, memory, and emotional regulation. Studies on animals and humans have since linked chronic sleep loss to increased risk of metabolic disorders, immune dysfunction, and even long-term cognitive decline. Randy's ordeal helped scientists understand just how vital sleep is for brain health and overall well-being, and his case remains a reference point in sleep science to this day. Over the next 11 days, 264 hours without sleep, what happened to Randy's brain would shock scientists and change our understanding of sleep forever. Let's introduce Randy Gardner and the famous sleep deprivation experiment. So, why did he stay awake and how did researchers monitor him? Well, that's what we're about to find out. Let's describe the effects day by day. On day 1 there was just normal fatigue. By day 2 he started having difficulty concentrating, and by day 3 there were noticeable mood changes. So, on day 4, memory problems start to set in. By day 5, hallucinations begin to appear. Then, on day 6, things get even worse with severe cognitive impairment, and from day 7 and beyond, confusion, paranoia, and, well, strange behavior all become more pronounced. Sleep has a huge impact on, memory, emotions, reaction time, and overall brain function. The risks of extreme sleep deprivation are honestly pretty serious. So, what actually happens inside the brain when sleep is removed, and why does the body so desperately need sleep? These are questions that even now scientists are still working to fully understand. Thankfully, Randy eventually recovered, but his experiment still stands as one of the most famous sleep studies ever conducted. So, how long do you think you could stay awake? During sleep, the body undergoes essential restorative processes. The brain cycles through different sleep stages, including REM and non-REM sleep. In non-REM sleep, the body repairs tissues, builds bone and muscle, and strengthens the immune system. REM sleep is crucial for memory, consolidation, and emotional regulation. Heart rate and breathing slow down, blood pressure drops, and growth hormone is released. The brain also clears out waste products, helping maintain cognitive function. Without adequate sleep, these vital processes are disrupted, leading to impaired memory, weakened immunity, and increased risk of chronic diseases. Sleep is not just rest, it's active maintenance for both mind and body. If you enjoyed this experiment and want to uncover more medical mysteries, make sure to subscribe to Medical Mysteries for more fascinating medical experiments and discoveries.